So between a baby Jabba the Hutt, a baby Yoda, and now a baby Rancor, is Star Wars Things just doing baby everything? Hello interwebs and welcome to my review of Star Wars The Bad Batch Episode 5, Rampage. Sadly, it has nothing to do with the Rock movie from a few years ago, because that movie was bad, but a lot of fun. And don't get me wrong, this week's episode was a lot of fun as well, but it kind of falls into that same category as last week, where it's kind of like a side adventure. Nothing really new or exciting is happening in terms of the main story, except for the main story gets nudged along a little bit. And actually, to be kind of honest, between this week and last week's episode, it kind of is reminding me a lot of the Mandalorian's type of storytelling, where we have this sort of overarching mystery that's sort of going throughout the season. We have another little young kid being protected by, in this case, a group of like wiser people sort of dealing with bigger problems, kind of like the Mandalorian. And then we have these little like side quest missions that don't really have much to do with the main plot, but kind of build out the world a little bit. Honestly, looking at it now as I sort of speak it out, I'm just seeing a lot of similarities in the storytelling structure between this and the Mandalorian. And I kind of wonder if this is sort of like a storytelling rut that Star Wars has kind of fallen into. It's not necessarily a bad rut. I don't hate the storytelling, but it's not exactly anything exciting for me either. I think it just needs to do a little bit more week to week to keep me engaged, because this episode was fun. I enjoyed it, but ultimately I'm kind of left like, okay, cool. It was nice to see the origins of the Rancor, I guess, but nothing really particularly intriguing all that much beyond it, except for nudging the story forward a little bit. Let's get into some of the stuff that I did like, though. I mean, obviously the main story of this was they're trying to figure out why Fennec Shand was after them, to learn a little bit more about her. So they go off to a planet where they try to meet this person who may know some information named Sid. I don't actually remember if Sid appeared in any of the previous shows in Clone Wars or anything. Maybe she did, but I'm not 100% sure on that. She's not immediately ringing a bell, but she might have. And she sends them on a mission to sort of, do something for her, which turns out to be sort of saving a baby Rancor, which turns out to be the Rancor from Star Wars Return of the Jedi. It was a nice little origin story, and I loved the subversion of seeing that, like, no, the little baby thing that they were trying to save was not the kid that was there, but was a baby Rancor. Really, actually kind of a fun twist, and the baby Rancor was actually a lot more adorable than I would have ever thought a baby Rancor could be, because, like I said, I guess baby everything in the Star Wars universe is just plain adorable, and I'm totally fine with that. And they rescue it and bring it back, and Fennec Shand, and then Sid gives them information on Fennec Shand, and we still don't know who has hired Fennec Shand. I'm assuming possibly the Kaminoans, but maybe it's another player we don't know yet, or someone else that is in the Star Wars universe that, like, we know, but isn't necessarily been tied into the events of this series yet. All that could be on the table. I wouldn't be surprised if there's sort of like a big end of the Mandalorian season 2 type cameo at some point in the Bad Batch that turns out to be the sort of person who hired them to hired Fennec Shand to find Omega. So that would be kind of exciting to see. So looking forward to all of that. Within all of that, there's some interesting stuff within here. Wrecker obviously having headaches again. My bet is that Wrecker's headaches are leading to the fact that his chip is starting to activate and he's going to end up betraying them at some point. So I'm liking the little seeding here. Though again, I hope they don't do it too many more times, because if you do it too many more times, it's going to it's good to put it bluntly, is going to kind of beat the nail on the head. That's a metaphor. It's 1 a.m. It was also nice seeing Omega being able to figure out who Sid was immediately, kind of having a little bit more empathy and maybe just a little bit more insight than the rest of them. I also loved her constantly like ringing up them on the messaging thing. That was really, really fun, and nice little cute little character building moments throughout all of that. Also, Wrecker fighting the Rancor for dominance was absolutely adorable and super, super cute. Truly a lot of fun there. But then beyond that, that's really all I got for this episode. It was all solid. It was all fun. It's sort of that same sort of Mandalorian storytelling mode, but not much else beyond that. And I'm going to have to be honest with you, everybody. I am planning to still continue to do these reviews week to week, but I feel like once Loki starts in about 2 or 3 weeks, I'm probably going to stop doing the week-to-week reviews of the Bad Batch and do my weekly reviews instead of Loki, and instead for Loki, and then sort of relegate the Bad Batch reviews to maybe do like a batch review of them, if I may use the pun, or just wait until the end of the season to sort of wrap out my thoughts on it. because honestly, I like doing week-to-week reviews, and so I'm going to continue them until Loki, but I just really haven't been having much to say about these episodes so far. So it's a good episode. I'm enjoying it, but it's not exactly super exciting or super enthralling me at the moment, and needs to do a little bit more to sort of keep me engaged with the series if it is going to keep going down this sort of rabbit hole. But I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on the latest episode of Star Wars The Bad Batch. Let me know down in the comments below. Did you like this episode? Did you hate it? Did you find it sort of in the middle as I did? What do you think about the connections to the Mandalorian type of storytelling? I'd love to hear all that in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more of my reviews and fun stuff. I actually have started thinking out some cool ideas for content over here on Jessie Gender After Dark. Don't forget, I also have my main channel. I have a Patreon page that you can help support me at. But beyond all of that, I hope that you, as always, live long and stay sexy.